Hello and welcome to the Castline Systems CableCalc 18-2 project tutorial. In this tutorial video we're going to cover all the aspects of designing and creating a project in CableCalc. If you don't already have CableCalc, you can sign up to a month's free subscription at castlinesystems.co.uk to give it a try. So now we're going to run through creating a new project in CableCalc, and the first thing to do is to make sure that you are in project mode by toggling the project mode switch here to green. We'll then go to the project tab and we will click create a new project. If you've already got a project open, then it will prompt you to save it first. So I'm just going to call my project test project, and then it will prompt you for the defaults for the project. These are the source information, so the values for the incoming supply. So I'm going to be doing a 3-phase system on a TNS earthing type, and I'm going to have a 0.1 ohm impedance. You can also adjust the single and 3-phase voltage and your maximum permitted volt drops for your project, as well as your prospective short circuit current. When you're happy with all your values, click done. The supply distribution board will always be created for you. Once you've created your new project and set the defaults, then you'll want to be adding your first distribution board. So to add a distribution board, you click on the board that it's going to be fed from first, in this case the supply. You click add DB, you enter a distribution board name. I'm just going to call it DB1, and it will ask you if you want to create your submain feed for you. If you say yes to this, then you can just enter your circuit number and select the phase for the feed. The description will be pre-filled for you, but you can adjust that if you need to, and then you select the protective device BS that you're going to be feeding it and the rating of that device, and click OK, and it will tell you that it's created this temporary submain. You just need to click OK to that. If you click on the distribution board, we can see it's created it, and you can see up here the downstream voltage and ZE etc. that's been carried forward on the default submain. Now we need to go onto the supply and double click on the submain to edit it and fill out the correct information, because it's all just placeholder information to start with. So we'll go to cable type, and we're going to be using 90-degree steel armoured multi-core. So we'll click calculate minimum size, and we'll be using a 25mm in 3 there. You can see that 100% MCCB that we selected when we created the submain is there now. So that's all passed, and we're happy with that. So we can just go back to the project tab, save circuit, to overwrite that with the correct information for the feed. And now when we click on DB1, we can see that the voltage and ZE there are a lot more favourable. If you want to add your submains later, then you can do that. Just click to add DB, we'll add DB2, and then when it says do you want to create a submain feed, just say no to that, and you can create the submain manually. To do that, you just select the board that you're feeding the board with, you click new circuit. Very important to make sure that the type of circuit here is submain. Fill out the rest of the details of the calculation, give it a circuit number and phase and description, and then save the circuit there. Oh, we need to make sure that we select the correct distribution board from the drop down list there. So that's okay, we can save that and overwrite it. And then when we click on DB2, we can see that that's also carried that downstream details for us. So if we click on the supply and add a third distribution board, we say no to the submain. If you click on it and it's not been fed, you can see that it's telling you there's no feed to the DB, and do you want to create the submain yourself. If you right or double click on the distribution board, then that will bring up the distribution board details window. Here you can set the information for the location and any details you want it to show, as well as if you want to change the icon that it displays in the project tab. You can see at the bottom of the screen here the load information. It will tell you the load per phase of the final circuits that you've saved to it, as well as the diversified load on that side of things. If you've got level 4, then you can also change the diagram style. This only affects the distribution board diagram, and you can enter all the details for the isolator rating and how many ways per row you want it to have there. Cable Calc Level 2 and above include various schedules that can be used with your project to generate printouts. You can choose to either generate for the current distribution board or all the distribution boards in the project at once. Level 2 includes the circuit detail schedules and the design schedule, as well as a single line diagram. And then Level 3 also includes a schematic diagram, phase graph and discrimination study, and the distribution board diagram is only available in Level 4. The circuit details schedule just gives you a basic circuit details overview of the distribution board. The design schedule gives you a schedule with a bit more information on it, including things like the volt drop and the length of the circuit. The schematic diagram gives you a schematic of the distribution board. The phase graph gives you a graph of the supply to each phase of the distribution board, as well as your final circuits on each distribution board's load, and a diversified load if you've entered any diversity on your calculations. The single line diagram gives you a single line overview of all of your submains in the project. A discrimination study can be used to check that all of your protective devices have adequate discrimination. And then finally, in Level 4, the distribution board diagram gives you a diagram of each distribution board in the project. Thank you for watching this Cable Calc tutorial video. Please visit the Castline Systems YouTube channel for more tutorial videos. If you have any questions or would like to contact us about anything, please email us at support@castlinesystems.co.uk or get in touch via our Facebook page.